Polish mythology creatures come from? The answer is simple. They were primarily to explain reality. In the early Middle Ages, many phenomena were beyond human comprehension. The easiest explanation was to believe in the existence of higher supernatural powers. So not just single creatures, but a whole host of Polish monsters, Polish demons, and Polish mythical creatures came into being. They usually personified negative phenomena that happened to people, from the lighter ones such as lack of sleep, through all diseases to nighttime suffocation and drowning. If you want to learn a little bit more about Polish folklore, I encourage you to stick around. Polewnik. Who was Polewnik? He was depicted as an unnaturally short man with a grainy complexion, with ears of grain instead of facial hair. Supposedly, he walked the fields, sometimes at noon, sometimes at sunset, and played at the expense of those he encountered, leading them off into the field, in other words, the wrong way. He liked to strangle or trample those who fell asleep. He was particularly fond of playing with the drunks, to whom he used sophisticated aggression. Originally, Polewnik mainly played the function as the protector of fields and forests. This, however, was taken over by Velas Leshi, and our field dwarf was quickly degraded to the rank of an infernal creature. Rusałka and Wil. A rusałka, or water demon, lived on the banks of lakes and rivers. These were most often women who had drowned before getting married. They appeared as beautiful, naked or half-naked women, clad in airy shirts or silver robes with fair skin and long green hair. Their hats were adorned with wreaths of riverside flowers and herbs. Apparently, in the enchanted power of these Polish demons was found. They tempted men and caused their death by drowning them in a nearby lake. Sometimes they also indulged in a mad dance with the unfortunate fellow until he fell from exhaustion. The latter way was also used by Velas, the South Slavic equivalent of Rusałka. However, these were rather capricious than cruel. Sometimes they blinded the men they encountered, and sometimes they were able to help them get married. They would always put the man to the test and tempt him with their beautiful young bodies. Utopiec, topielec, wodnik. The shores of all inland waters were considered to be particularly dangerous places for all bathers, fishers, and drifters. Why? Because there were often drownings and unfortunate accidents, and it was the souls of those who died tragically the water that became an utopits or topielets. The name varies depending on the region. They were depicted as deformed people with scales and with fingers covered with membranes. They basked at the banks near bridges and footbridges, and then suddenly pulled people into the water. Sometimes these bullish monsters, like the Sphinx, would ask their victims riddles on which their fate depended. However, these were rarely guessed. Vodniks, on the other hand, were slightly different from an utopits or utopelets. They were supposed to be short, elderly people with green fish eyes who not only drowned specific people, but were responsible for all floods and floodings. Therefore, offerings were given to them from time to time in the form of house pets to ensure their favor. Did it work? It's hard to tell. Supposedly for entertainment, they would sometimes place trinkets on the water to lure daredevils to the middle of the waters and never let go of them. Still, the most feared were children, meaning those that had drowned accidentally, and also those murdered by their own mothers. The cruelest and most stubborn of them were said to not spare anyone until they murdered them. That sure sends shivers down one's spine, doesn't it? Bebok, Pokemon. What did he look like? Here everyone agrees, like a night Pokemon with the height of a child, with a large and extremely ugly aged face and all hairy. The perfect monster to scare your children with. Bebok was supposed to scare naughty children who didn't want to sleep. However, he was far too stupid to act on his own, so he carried out the orders of witches. Thus the legend arose, claiming that Beboks are the souls of children who died early and who did not listen to their parents. So they liked making mischief and destroying various objects in others' homes. And once they had their fun, they took other disobedient children with them. Smore and Dushoki. While nature-related creatures could be appeased somehow, vampiric beings were absolutely ruthless. While Beboks killed children at night, the adults were haunted by mares, ghastly souls that tormented, strangled, and sucked blood from humans. These were the souls of those who were harmed in some way. Therefore, sometimes they were tall women with unnaturally long legs, and sometimes shapeless ghosts. The mares could pass through every door. How to recognize that they have just visited you? If you're sweating and kick around in your bed, this is a sign that it's time to wake up quickly. If you succeed and feel the characteristic pressure in your chest after opening up your eyes, it means that you were visited by a strangler instead of a mare, which has only one purpose: to choke you in your sleep. Struga and Strugun. with 2 souls, 2 hearts, and a second row of teeth. Such individuals were banished, and they quickly died, unable to cope with the new condition. So one soul would then leave the body, and the other remained, taking revenge on people for the wrongs they had done. The Strigs drank blood and ate people's insides. The only way to defend against them was to burn their bodies or pierce them with a nail. This was easier said than done, however. The insatiable and powerful Strig showed animal-like aggression. Liha. The number of Polish proverbs with the word liha is really impressive. This was an exceptionally evil Polish demon, the epitome of all human woes, illnesses, and diseases in the world. You probably already know what form it was portrayed in: an overly skinny woman with one big eye in the middle of her forehead, almost like the Cyclops. Liha would wander around, looking for places where people are happy. Then came the time to play, sending hunger, poverty, fires, and whatever calamities that came to the monster's head. There was no defense against it. You had to be resilient and patient in waiting for better times. Latawiec or Latawica. Souls of miscarried children, people who were hanged, convicted villains. All of them were to be transformed into great black birds after death, affecting atmospheric phenomena. But not only that, they loved going down to earth and seducing people. Hence today's Polish dictionary of phraseologies includes the Polish latawiec, latawica, as a synonym of sexually promiscuous people. And it was the latter activity that caused the idea of the fiery serpent in Polish folklore to change over time. Through the clergy that began to be associated with large, lewd air devils. Their favorite pastime is harassing honest and God-fearing women at night in order to persuade them to commit the sin of impurity, of course. What did the people say among themselves? That Latawiec will spare no woman, he wants them all. That Latawica has done it with every man in the village. Innocent boys, good girls, you should always be on your guard. Latawiec and Latawica have the ability to take the form of an attractive young man or a fair woman. Poroniec and alchemist. A violent and premature death caused great anxiety and fear in people in the Middle Ages. Such people were accused of contacts with unclean forces. This is how the Poroniec came to be. It is the souls of children who have parted the world while still in the womb or after death, but before baptism. Such prematurely deceased children were to be guided by immense envy that they did not get to enjoy their lives. Moreover, they were usually buried just about anywhere, in secluded spots, so that no one course, their souls went to eternal damnation, transforming into birds, flying at night and attacking pregnant women and young children to suck out their blood. This was to be the retribution for the harm they had suffered. Meeting a bird at night might, however, be a meeting with another Polish mythical creature. It is an alkanost. However, instead of a child's head, these night birds had the face of a beautiful woman. These were demons of the woman who committed suicide after killing their child. The singing of alkanost could lure men, driving them mad, whereas they themselves would lay eggs on a beach from which a huge, uncontrollable storm would hatch. Południca and Północnica, Lady Midday and Lady Midnight. The Południca, Lady Midday, Lady Rye. She had many names, although the first term was certainly the most popular. She was feared by everyone working in the field during the July and August heat. As the name suggests, she always appeared at noon when the sun shone most. The Południca came as a tall, pale, thin woman with loose hair and a flowing white robe. Some saw Lady Midday as ghostly skeletons, others just as old women. Others still described them as beautiful women. No wonder they were supposed to be able to cast a spell on a man, under which he lost control of himself. Everyone who fell to the ground from exhaustion, sunstroke, or drunkenness while working in the field was probably cut down by the field blade of a Polish folklore creature. But where did the Lady Midday come from? They were the souls of women who died tragically around their own wedding, or all the girls who had died in their maidenhood. And how could you defend against them? Simply by keeping out of the fields in the midday heat. I think that's going to be it for tonight's video. I truly hope you enjoyed. If you'd like to see more like this, please let me know and I can do more. And see you soon.